They said he was broken beyond saving. A cursed alpha whose heart was rotting from the inside out. They called him dangerous, unstable. A beast, dying slowly under a fate no healer could undo. But she saw something different. A faint spark inside the darkness. A man worth fighting for, even if the world had already buried him. They warned her to run from him, to stay far from the curse eating him alive. But the night the moon split in the sky, the night his curse snapped awake like a starving wolf, the night her touch pulled him back from the edge, was the moment everyone realized. He didn't die because of the curse. He died because he loved her, and loved was the one thing his fate refused to forgive. But the truth behind their bond was far more terrifying. If you were cursed to die for loving someone, would you walk away or risk everything for them? Tell me in the comments. And if Dark Alpha stories make your heart race, hit subscribe so you never miss the next tale. Now, let's continue. This is the story of a man who fought a curse older than blood. And the girl fate chose as both his salvation and his executioner. A story of forbidden love carved into prophecy, of destinies that collided long before either of them were born. A story of an alpha who tried to resist the one emotion that would one day kill him. And the girl who had no idea her love carried death in its shadow. Because she wasn't just a healer's apprentice or a quiet girl living on the edge of the forest. She was the heart of an ancient spell. The key to a curse written in moonfire. And he was the wolf destined to die for touching her. Her name was Elara Wynn. His name was Corvin Hale. And the night their lives collided was the night fate finally opened its eyes. Now, let the story begin. The wind clawed through the trees that night, howling like something alive, something angry. Elara felt it before she heard it. A shift in the air, a tightening in her chest, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. She stepped out of the healer's hut with her basket pressed to her ribs. The moon hung low and swollen, its glow sharp enough to sting her eyes. Something was wrong. She turned and froze. A man stood at the edge of the clearing, tall, broad-shouldered, wrapped in a long black cloak torn at the hem, as if he'd been running for miles. His breathing was ragged. His hands shook, and the shadows around him didn't behave like shadows. They pulsed. Elara swallowed. Are you hurt? The man didn't answer. He lifted his head slowly. His eyes, gods, his eyes burned with a pale silver fire, wild and fevered, like an animal trapped in its final moments. Her breath caught. She knew what that glow meant. Every child in their kingdom did. Cursed. Not just cursed, marked by a spell that devoured the soul. He took one staggering step toward her. Elara, he rasped. She jolted backward. How do you know my name? Another step. The ground trembled beneath his boots. I tried. His voice cracked. I tried to stay away. But it's worse tonight. His knees buckled. Elara dropped her basket and lunged forward instinctively, catching him before he hit the ground. His weight drove her down to her knees, but she clung to him, heart slamming in her chest. Up close, she could feel the heat rolling off him. A fever so fierce it burned through his shirt. Gods, she breathed, you're burning. He inhaled sharply, fingers digging into the earth as he tried to pull away from her. "Don't touch me," he hissed. "It spreads. The curse. It lashes out when I get closer to—" His voice shuddered. "To the one it's tied to." Her brows knitted. "Tied to? What are you—" Before she could finish, a crack split through the night. Not thunder, a bone breaking, but not his. Ilara's head snapped toward the tree line. Something moved there. Fast, wrong, crawling low to the earth, with limbs that bent backward. A corrupted wolf. No, not a wolf, a creature twisted by moonrot. The same magic that fed his curse. Her breath hitched. Oh no! He forced himself upright despite the tremor in his limbs. "Get behind me," he growled. "You can barely stand. And it can smell you," he warned, eyes flashing with sharp fear. "It always comes for the one the curse has chosen." The creature stepped out of the brush, saliva hissing as it hit the cold ground. Its eyes glowed a sickly, poisonous green. Ilara backed toward him. He grabbed her wrist, his touch scorching her skin, and pulled her behind him with the last strength he had. "Run when I say," he murmured. "But you can't fight that." He didn't answer. His body jerked as another wave of pain ripped through him. Moonfire flickered beneath his skin. Violent, unstable. Ilara's chest tightened. "Please," she whispered. "Let me help you." "You can't help what's already killing me." The creature snarled. Branches snapped. The forest braced itself, as if even the trees feared what was about to happen. Ilara squeezed his arm, desperation thick in her breath. "What's your name?" she whispered. He hesitated. For a heartbeat, she saw the man beneath the curse. Tired, lonely, drowning. "Corvin," he breathed. The creature lunged. Corvin shoved her aside and met the beast head-on. He didn't shift. He couldn't. The curse tore through his strength, twisting his wolf, holding it hostage. But he still fought. Claws slashed across his arm. He gritted his teeth, driving his elbow into the creature's jaw. The impact shook him to his core. Ilara scrambled backward, heart hammering, panic clawing up her throat. Corvin stumbled, the curse erupting beneath his skin in violent flashes of silver heat. He choked. "Go, Ilara, run!" She should have. She knew she should. But something inside her froze. A pull, a warmth, a terrifying certainty. The curse wasn't just attacking him. It was reacting to her, and when she whispered his name, "Corvin," the curse surged like wildfire. His back arched, his eyes glowed, and the beast paused mid-lunge as if startled by the flare of his power. Ilara gasped. I did that?" Corvin staggered, barely finding his balance. "Ilara!" His voice broke. "Stay away from me, for your sake." But the creature recovered. And this time, didn't attack him. It charged straight at her. Ilara's scream tore through the clearing. Corvin's roar followed. A sound carved from agony and something deeper. Something like fear. And then everything exploded into chaos. The creature hit the ground with a sickening crack, but not because it had reached Ilara. Corvin had reached it first, somehow. Through pain so violent it twisted his breath, through moonfire ripping through his veins. He still moved, grabbing the creature by the throat and slamming it into the earth. Elara's eyes widened. How was he even standing? Corvin snarled, holding the beast down as it writhed beneath him, its limbs spasming like broken metal. But he wasn't winning. Elara could see it. The curse was draining him, burning through his body in vicious surges. His hands trembled as he held the creature back. He couldn't last. "Corvin," she cried, stumbling toward him. "Stay back!" He barked, voice shredded with strain. "It wants you, Elara, don't—" Too late. The creature twisted violently, knocking him aside. Corvin hit the ground hard, a groan tearing from his chest. Silver fire flickered under his skin. The curse overloading him, pushing him past human limits. The creature turned, not toward Corvin, toward her. Elara froze. Her heart hammered so violently it drowned out the rushing sound in her ears. Her hands lifted instinctively, she didn't know why, and a pulse burst from her palms, soft, warm, golden. The creature recoiled with a hiss, as if her very presence scorched it. Elara gasped. "What was that?" Corvin stared at her from the ground, eyes wide, breath ragged. He had seen it too. But the creature wasn't gone. Just startled. It circled, snarling, regaining its stance. Elara looked back at Corvin. He shook his head weakly. "Elara, don't." But something inside her had already woken. She stepped forward. The creature lunged, and she threw her hands out again. This time the glow was stronger, bursting from her like the heart of a dying star. The creature shrieked, its body twisting, collapsing in on itself, as if dragged into its own shadow. Then, silence. Elara stood trembling, breath unsteady, hands glowing faintly with gold that faded as quickly as it had appeared. She turned slowly. Corvin stared at her as if the world had just split open. "Elara?" His voice was barely a whisper. "What are you?" She backed away, terrified. I don't know. I've never—" "Yes," he cut in, voice pained but certain. "You have. Even if you don't remember." Elara shook her head. No, I'm nobody. I'm just a healer's apprentice," he finished, struggling weakly to his feet. His gaze burned into hers. "You think a healer's apprentice can reduce a corrupted wolf to dust?" Elara's throat tightened. She didn't have an answer. Corvin staggered, nearly falling. She rushed to him, slipping an arm around his chest to hold him up. He flinched at her touch. Not from pain, but from the curse reacting to her again. Silver fire flared under his skin. He growled through clenched teeth. "Don't! Elara, don't touch! Then stop collapsing!" She snapped, fear sharpening her tone. He blinked at her, surprised. She flushed, embarrassed, but didn't let go. He leaned against her, breathing hard. "Elara," he murmured again, softer now, as if trying to taste the truth behind her name. "There's a reason the curse followed me here. A reason it reacts to you." Her heart pounded. "What reason?" He hesitated. The answer in his eyes terrified her before he spoke a single word. "The curse is tied to a bloodline," he said. "A royal one." She froze. "No, she whispered. That's impossible. He held her gaze, his voice low, haunted, certain. Elara, you're connected to the moon bloodline. Her breath vanished. That bloodline was wiped out, she said, shaking. Every heir, every descendant, all of them gone. Corvin swallowed. Not all of them. Elara staggered backward. The night swayed around her. No, that can't be true. If I really were connected to them, I would know. Would you? Corvin murmured. You were a child when the massacre happened. She froze. Her heart seemed to stop mid-beat. How do you know about the massacre? She whispered. He looked away. Pain flashed across his features. Not physical pain. Memories. Elara, I was there. Her stomach dropped. What? He didn't meet her eyes. Not as a soldier, not as an attacker. Shaky exhale. I was a prisoner, held by the same sorcerer who orchestrated the slaughter. A cold shiver ran down her spine. And the curse? She asked, barely breathing. He looked up then. Pain burned in his eyes. He marked me that night. Said I would one day cross paths with the last surviving heir. Said when I did. He swallowed hard. Loving her would kill me. Elara stumbled back, hand over her mouth. No, she whispered. Corvin, you don't even know if I'm... Yes, he'd said quietly. I do. How? He stepped closer, slowly, as if approaching something fragile. Important. Dangerous. The curse reacts to only one bloodline, he said, and it reacts to you like wildfire. His voice trembled. Elara, you're the heir it was carved for. Her knees weakened. Her head spun. She wasn't just a healer's apprentice. She wasn't just a girl living quietly on the edge of the forest. She was... No. She refused to believe it. Corvin watched her, chest rising and falling with uneven breaths. Elara, he said, softly, almost pleading. You need to understand this. The curse, it won't kill me because I'm dying. His eyes dimmed. It will kill me because I'm falling in love with you. The world tilted. Elara's breath broke. Half gasp, half denial. And before she could speak, a branch cracked behind them. They both spun. Another figure stepped into the moonlight. Hooded, silent, watching. Elara win? The figure said, voice cold enough to freeze bone. Your time hidden is over. Corvin stepped in front of her, ignoring the curse erupting through his veins. Run, he whispered. I'll hold them off. But Elara already felt it. This wasn't just danger. It was destiny, finally catching up. The hooded figures stepped into the clearing, their shadows stretching unnaturally long across the ground. As if the night bent itself around Benveille, Elara's breath hitched. She didn't recognize the voice, but her body reacted before her mind did. A cold tremor shooting down her spine, the same feeling she'd had in her nightmares since childhood. Corvin pushed her behind him, every muscle strained, the curse flickering beneath his skin like lightning trapped in veins. You're too late, the figure said softly. She's already awakened. The curse has chosen, and now it will feast. Corvin snarled, his eyes burning silver. Touch her, and I swear... You'll do what? The figure tilted their head. Die? Collapse? Burn from the inside out? You can barely stay upright. Corvin's body shook, but he refused to step back. Elara clutched his arm. Corvin, don't. You're hurt. The curse gets worse the more I feel, he muttered, voice shaking with pain. And right now, Elara, I feel everything. A shiver crawled up her spine. Not fear, something deeper. Something she didn't dare name. The figure raised a hand. Moonlight dimmed. The shadows at their feet thickened, twisting upward like smoke, forming a second shape beside them, a creature, not corrupted like the last one. Worse, it stood tall and skeletal, its limbs too long, its eyes hollow pits, spilling green fire. Elara stepped back involuntarily. What is that? The Moontaker, Corvin whispered. His voice shook. He's calling it. Elara, run! But she didn't. She couldn't. The Moontaker lifted its head, sniffing the air with long rattling breaths. Then its gaze locked on her, as if she were a beacon. The hooded figure smiled beneath their cowl. Do you feel it, girl? The pull in your bones? The ache in your blood? That is your legacy calling. Elara's heart pounded violently. No, she hissed. You're lying. I'm nobody. The figure laughed softly. Oh, child, you are the last Moonblood. Your death will finish what we began years ago. Corvin tensed. Every muscle coiled, every vein burning with silver. You won't touch her. He lunged, but the curse hit him mid-stride. His body convulsed. He collapsed to one knee, clawing at the ground as if trying to tear the pain out of himself. Elara, he choked. Stay back. The Moontaker moved. Fast. Too fast. Elara jumped, stumbling backward. Corvin forced himself upright, roaring with pain, his eyes blazing silver as he slammed into the creature's path. The impact sent a shockwave through the clearing. Corvin was thrown back into a tree, barking out a pained cry as he hit the trunk hard enough to crack it. Elara screamed his name. The Moontaker turned toward her again. The hooded figure lifted their hand, as if conducting a puppet. Elara win, the voice said. The Moonblood line ends tonight. Elara's hands trembled. Her breath quickened, her skin hummed. Golden light flickered faintly at her fingertips. No, not now. Not again. She didn't understand it. Couldn't control it. Corvin, she cried. What do I do? His voice came out strangled. Run! But the Moontaker lunged first. Elara braced, and the world erupted. Golden light blasted from her 10 times stronger than before, ripping through the air like a sunburst. The force knocked the Moontaker back several feet. Even the hooded figure staggered. Elara collapsed to her knees, panting, dizzy from the surge. What was happening to her? Corvin dragged himself off the ground, chest heaving, curse flaring wildly beneath his skin. Elara, his voice broke. You're awakening. She stared at her trembling hands. at the golden sparks fading from her palms. "I don't want this," she whispered. Tears filled her eyes. "I don't want any of this." He reached for her and stopped, his hand inches from hers, because the curse reacted violently. Silver fire tore up his arm like searing chains. He gasped, jerking back. "Elara, if I touch you now..." His breath hitched. "It'll kill me faster." Her heart shattered. "Then don't," she whispered. "Just don't leave me." The hooded figure straightened, dark laughter echoing through the clearing. How poetic. The cursed wolf and the golden heir, two halves of a prophecy designed to destroy each other. Corvin growled, forcing himself between Elara and the figure again. "I'll tear you apart." "You can try," the figure said, lifting both hands, shadows swirling around them. "But you're already dying." The curse erupted inside Corvin like a storm. He dropped to one knee, clawing at his chest as silver fire cracked through his skin. Elara screamed, "Stop! You're killing him!" "That is the point," the figure hissed. They gestured sharply. Shadows shot forward, and Corvin collapsed. The Moontaker advanced on him. Elara's cry tore through the night. "No!" Golden light erupted again. But this time her power misfired, shattering in all directions, wild and uncontrolled. Elara couldn't see, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. All she could hear was Corvin choking for breath. She crawled toward him, hands shaking violently. "Corvin, Corvin, stay with me." He forced his eyes open. "Elara." He lifted a trembling hand, careful not to touch her. "I told you, loving you would kill me." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "Don't say that," she whispered. "Don't." But his eyes were losing focus. He was sitting. "Elara." He breathed, voice thin, weak. "If I die, it won't be from the curse." Her heart twisted. "What do you mean?" His lips parted, as if he was about to confess something. And then the hooded figure spoke. "Because the curse is only half the truth. The other half..." They stepped toward him, moonlight sliding over their blade. "Is you." Elara froze. "What?" The figure raised the blade, aimed directly at Corvin's heart. "Run, heir, or watch him die because of what you are." Elara reached out instinctively, her golden power flaring, but she was a second too slow. The blade fell. Corvin didn't move. Elara screamed. The world shattered. The blade sank into him. For a heartbeat, there was no sound, no wind, no curse, no breath, just the wet, horrible thud of steel meeting flesh. Corvin's body jerked. His eyes widened, not in fear, but in something like acceptance. Then the world crashed back. "Corvin!" Elara's scream tore out of her, raw and animal. He staggered, the hilt jutting from his chest, right where his heart should have been. Silver light exploded under his skin, the curse seizing the opening like a starving thing. It rushed to the wound, pouring into it, devouring him from the inside. The hooded figure wrenched the blade free. Corvin collapsed. Elara caught him before he hit the dirt, knees smashing into the ground. "Corvin! Corvin, look at me! Look at me!" His eyes fluttered. Silver bled out of them, replaced by a dull grey, Elara. His voice was barely a ghost. You see, I told you. Loving you would kill me. Stop it, she sobbed. Don't say that, don't. His hand lifted, fingers shaking, hovering just above her cheek, too afraid to touch. I'd do it again, he whispered. Every time, every life. I'd find you, I'd love you, even if it kills me. Again and again. Her vision blurred. Don't talk like that, she choked. You're not dying. I won't let you. I won't. His chest seized. He arched in her arms, a strangled cry shredding his throat as the curse surged. Silver fire ripped through him, bursting along his veins, cracking his sin with lines of burning light. The moontaker shrieked, feeding on the power, its hollow eyes blazing brighter. The hooded figure watched, voice low and almost tender. This is what destiny looks like, girl. Oath. The curse always had one task: to kill the wolf who dared love you. Elara shook her head, tears splashing into Corvin's face. Stop it, she whispered. Stop, please, you're hurting him. Love, that is what woke it, the figures said. Love is what's killing him. He could have stayed away from you. He chose not to. Corvin's breathing hitched. Don't listen, he gasped. She twists everything. You were never my curse. You were the only thing that made it bearable. His hand fell, his body went slack. Elara froze. Corvin, her voice was small, too small. Corvin, hey, that's not funny. Get up. He didn't answer. His chest stopped moving. The silver light faded from his veins, sinking inward, concentrating around the wound like a closing eye. The world narrowed to her heartbeat, hammering in her ears. No, she whispered. Corvin, this isn't it. You don't get to leave like this. She pressed her ear to his chest. Nothing. No thump. No echo. Just silence. Real. Final. Cold. Her hands shook as she grabbed his shoulders, shaking him. Corvin, please, please wake up. You're not allowed to die. Not for me, not because of me. He didn't move. The curse had gone still. Too still. It was done. He's dead, the hooded figure said calmly. Just as the prophecy decreed. The wolf who loved the moonblood heir would die for that love. The curse has collected its due. Elara's throat closed. Her fingers dug into his cloak. Memories crashed over her in jagged flashes. His hand catching hers in the clearing. His voice saying her name like it mattered. The way he stepped in front of every danger without thinking. The way his eyes softened when she smiled, even when the curse was tearing him apart. She bent over him, shoulders shaking. I'm sorry, she whispered against his chest. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. If I had known, I would have run. I would have left. I would have done anything. The moontaker growled, stepping closer, drawn by the last embers of pour in his corpse. The hooded figure extended a hand. Let him go, Elara, they said. Bzn. His death means the spell is sealed. If you accept it now, you may live a little longer. Refuse, and you'll follow him soon. She lifted her head slowly. Tears carved wet paths down her cheeks. Who are you? She whispered, to tell me to let him go. The figure hesitated. Then they pulled back their hood. Her entire world cracked. Mother? Her voice ripped out of her like something broken. The face beneath the hood was the one she'd dreamed of for years. The same sharp cheekbones, the same dark hair, the same golden rings around her irises, rotted now by veins of sickly green. Elara, her mother breathed, at last. Elara's hands loosened on Corvin's cloak. You died, she stammered. The night of the fire. I saw... You saw what we needed you to see, her mother said. I sent you away. You were the key. If they'd killed you, the curse would have ended too soon. Elara stared, uncomprehending. The curse? Her gaze dropped back to Corvin's still face. To him. To anyone foolish enough to love you, her mother said softly. The Moonblood line carries a price. Our hearts poison those who bind themselves to us. It is our poor power and our punishment. Elara shook her head violently. No, that's not true. I didn't kill him. You did. You stabbed him. You brought that creature, you... The blade only opened the door. Her mother cut in. The curse walked through it, and it was his love for you that gave it the strength to finish its work. Elara's stomach twisted. She looked at her hands. Hands that glowed gold every time she tried to save him. Hands that had drawn the curse to him again and again. Her voice dropped to a broken whisper. I did this. A small, satisfied smile ghosted over her mother's lips. Now you understand. You are the curse trigger. You always have been. The Moontaker prowled closer, eyes locked on Corvin's body, as if waiting to consume the last of what he'd been. Her mother lifted her hand, power crackling at her fingertips. Come, Elara. Leave him. Become what you were always meant to be. Let the world fear you like they feared me. Elara looked down at Corvin's face. He looked peaceful, too peaceful. She remembered the way he had smiled through the pain, the way he'd said he'd choose her in every life, the way he'd told her she wasn't his curse. She was the only light he'd had. Her hand trembled as she brushed a lock of hair from his brow. I never wanted to be feared, she whispered. I just wanted to be loved. And I was. By you. Her mother's voice sharpened. Love made you weak. It killed him. Elara's tears stilled. Something inside her. Something that had been shaking since childhood. Finally stopped. She inhaled. Slow. Steady. When she lifted her head again, her eyes were still wet. But they were no longer scattered. They were clear. No, she said quietly. It's not love that killed him. It's the curse you helped create, the prophecy you fed, the fear you bowed to. Golden light flickered at her fingertips. Her mother stiffened. Careful, Elara. Elara ignored her. She placed her hand flat over Corvin's chest, right where the blade had gone in. His skin was cooling. His shirt was soaked with blood. There's nothing left to save, her mother said. The curse has taken its due. Elara's voice dropped to a whisper. Then it can give it back. She closed her eyes, thought of him, not as a legend, not as a cursed alpha, just as the man who sat with her in silence when nightmares wouldn't let her sleep. The man who called her by name like it was a promise. The man who stood in front of teeth and claws and blades so she wouldn't have to. Her heart cracked open. Pain flooded her. Grief, rage, love, all of it. Take me, she whispered to the power in her blood. If something has to pay, take me. But give him back. Please give him back. Her mother's eyes widened. Elara, don't... Too late. The power answered. It burst from her palm, not as a blast, but as threads. Fine, luminous strands of gold slid into Corvin's chest, curling around his stopped heart, weaving through the dead stillness in his veins. The moontaker screamed, reeling back as the golden light brushed it. The curse within Corvin, that sleeping silver rot, stirred, then screamed. It fought, trying to cling to his bones, his blood, his soul. The golden threads wrapped tighter. Elara bit back a cry, her own body shaking as if the curse were in her too. Let go, she sobbed. Let him go. You've taken enough. You've taken everything. Silver bled out of Corvin's veins, pouring into her hand like molten metal. It burned. She didn't let go. Her mother stumbled backward, a strangled sound ripping from her throat. The green rot in her eyes began to unravel, thread by thread. You're pulling it out, she gasped. Elara, stop! You'll rip yourself apart. Lara's voice shook. Then we go together. The moontaker shattered, its skeletal frame collapsing into dust as the last fragment of the curse left it. The clearing filled with light. Gold, silver, white. It roared outward, tearing through shadow, burning every trace of the spell that had haunted them. Elara screamed as the last surge hit her. Then, silence. The light vanished. She slumped forward, collapsing fully across Corvin's chest. For a terrible moment, neither of them moved. Her mother stared, eyes wide and human again, hands trembling and empty. Elara! Her voice was tiny, terrified. Child? No answer. The forest held its breath. Then, a sound, small, soft, a cough. Corvin's chest jerked under Elara's weight. He dragged in a ragged breath, like a man breaking the surface of deep water. His hand twitched, then lifted slowly, clumsily. It found Elara's back and curled over it. Too heavy, he rasped weakly. You're crushing me. Her eyes flew open. She pushed herself up, staring down at him in wild disbelief. Corvin? He blinked. Color was creeping back into his face. There was no silver crawling under his skin anymore. Only warmth. You came back, she whispered. He tried for a smirk. You didn't make it very peaceful, he croaked. All that screaming. She let out a broken laugh that dissolved into sobs. I hate you, she choked, hands framing his face. I hate you, you stupid, stubborn, cursed wolf. His fingers brushed her wrist. The touch didn't burn, didn't flare, didn't hurt. He looked astonished. Elara, he breathed, eyes flooding with something fierce and disbelieving. You broke it. The curse, it's gone. She swallowed hard. Good, she whispered, because I'm not done loving you yet. Something inside him cracked. Not like breaking, like unlocking. He pulled her down carefully, forehead pressing to hers. "You killed me," he murmured, "just like it said you would." She flinched. He smiled faintly. "And then you refused to let me stay dead. That wasn't in the prophecy." A shaky laugh escaped her, tears still clinging to her lashes. Then maybe the prophecy was stupid. He huffed out a breath. "Agreed." A soft, stunned sob sounded behind them. Elora turned. Her mother knelt there, hands over her mouth, eyes clear and golden. No green corruption left. "Elara," she whispered, voice breaking, "what have you done?" Elara helped Corvin sit up, keeping one arm around him. "What you were too afraid to try," Elara said quietly. "I chose love over fear, and it broke the curse instead of feeding it." Her mother shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I thought, if you loved, you would die," she whispered. "So I tore you from everyone, pushed you into hiding. Let the world think I burned with the rest. I thought I was saving you." Elara's chest ached. For a second, she saw not the hooded enemy, but the woman who had once braided her hair, who had once sung her to sleep. "You hurt me," Elara said softly. "But you were hurt first. By the same thing that tried to take him." Her mother looked at Corvin, at his steady, living chest, at their joined hands. "How?" she whispered. Elara glanced at him and he nodded once. She took a breath. "I didn't sever the bond," she said. "I did the opposite. I chose it completely. All of it. I let it kill him. So it had nothing left to demand." Her mother stared at her, horrified. "You let him die?" Elara's jaw trembled. "Yes," she said. "And then I called him back. With everything the curse tried to twist. With everything it wanted to turn into a weapon. It was never love that was wrong. It was the fear around it." Corvin squeezed her hand. The moontaker's dust scattered on a wind that finally felt clean. Her mother bowed her head, voice ragged. "I was wrong," she whispered. "For years. I let the prophecy own me. I let it turn me into a monster. I don't deserve to touch you. Either of you." Elara's throat tightened. "You don't," she said honestly. Her mother flinched. Elara swallowed. "But you're still my mother," she added quietly. "And he's still the man who died for me. If we're going to build anything after this, it has to start with truth. No more hiding behind curses." Corvin leaned his head briefly on Elara's shoulder, exhausted but alive. "So," he rasped, voice soft but steady, "we tell the world. We tell them the prophecy was a lie half finished. We tell them the curse is dead. We tell them the last moonblood didn't drown the wolves in starfire. She freed them." Elara looked up at the sky. The moon was whole again, not cracked, not bleeding, just watching. She exhaled slowly. "I like that version better," she said. Corvin smiled against her hair. "Me too." He winced as he shifted. She tightened her grip around him. "Careful," she muttered. "You literally died." "And you literally brought me back," he said. "Seems fair we both take credit." She rolled her eyes, a shaky smile tugging at her mouth. "You're impossible. You chose me." he reminded her softly. Remember? She did. She always would. The night they stood in that clearing, between prophecy and choice, between destiny and defiance, was the night everything changed. He had fought the curse to save her, and in the end, loving her had killed him. But it was that same love, unbroken and unrepented, that tore him back from death's hands and shattered the fate that had chained them both. She laced her fingers with his. Come on, she whispered. Let's go find out who we are without a curse stalking us. His eyes softened. With you, White, he asked. Always, she said. He smiled. Then I'm already saved. They walked out of the clearing together. A resurrected Alpha and the girl whose love had killed and revived him in the same breath, leaving behind a prophecy that would never own them again. This was the night the curse finally collected its price, and the night love refused to let it keep what it took.